Thanks everyone for joining. Um, the purpose, I put up the agenda. I hope you can all see it. But our purpose for this meeting is to facilitate discussion and sharing of ideas between the affiliate clubs who hold agility trials and the agility committee. And for those of you who don't know um, who your agility committee is, I'm going to run through the list right quick. So we have Sandra Katzen, who's in Washington, Nicole Watts, California, Bambi Ellis is in Arizona, Sue Graham is in California, Claudia Yearsley, Colorado, Julie Fillinger, New Mexico, Sheila Freeman, Texas, Michael Kurdzo, Connecticut, Heather Tyler, Virginia, Lee Prager in Massachusetts, and Christian Preen in Austria. So I know there's a number of folks on from the agility committee that are on the call, and I'm sure some others will join as we get moving through the program. So here here I put up the agenda, and it's first I want to cover trials, and we'll talk about those, and you can see some of the points that we'd like to
You want to
make,
hear it?
and then we talk about new rule changes. We had a number of rule changes in agility. This that went into effect on June 1, and I think Sue will cover uh, all these just to make you aware of what those changes were and some of the things that need to be done to make sure that you meet the rules as they are in the rule book. And then uh, anything that you would like to see the agility committee to work on, and then how can the board help your club? And then there's a couple of other topics that came up through the week. Talk about all breed agility finals and adding ace dogs to finals. So I think the best way to work this is um, if you have a comment or question or anything, just raise your hand, and we'll call on you to answer or ask your question. So some of the topics that I thought we could cover for trials is how your current entry numbers compared to the past. What are your challenges to putting on trials? What works best for your club? And how do you increase participation from other breeds? And then finally, what successes have you had? So that's kind of a group of questions. If anybody wants to jump in and address any of those or comment on any of those. Okay, Ann, I see you've raised your hand. Go ahead.
Related to the last one, something that someone suggested from another club. So we have lots of AKC trials in Southern California, fair amount of ASCA trials, but tons of AKC trials. And I keep track and watch the posts. And one weekend, an AKC trial was completely filled up. So I posted on all the local, like all dog sites, SoCal dog events, just general stuff on Facebook, and said, hey, oh my gosh, AKC is full. Come and play ASCA. You can just get this. And we got like 3 other breeds and actually a junior with other breeds sign up. So whatever I post, I'm always ASCA's all open to other breeds. You can come and try it. You can enter at every level. And that's a big thing, especially for people who do AKC at higher levels. If they just want to practice, they can run and ASCA Elite. It's not like AKC where you have to start lower. So if they're at the higher levels, then that is appealing to other people as well.
Okay, thank you for that. Anybody else want to comment on what Ann brought up? Yes, Jesse, go ahead.
We've had some success offering FEO runs for cheaper price. And we got a lot of AKC people who are just coming to try to train a certain thing and taking advantage of the FEO cheaper pricing. But we do face challenges of running into other, especially AKC around here, that often we lose competitors because they want to run AKC instead.
So has any other clubs come up with something that you could do to try to bring more people in then? Yes, Aaron, go ahead.
Yeah, I think one of the things that makes our trials successful is that we work very closely with a lot of the training facilities. So we have our, we'll talk to students that are potentially a novice and asking about competing and talking to them about gamblers, because you can just come in and make it up, and it relieves some of that stress for some people, not for me. But working with the training facilities, talking to their classes about ASCA, because a lot of people that have other breeds don't know what it is. So we've done a lot of that. Some of our agility trial committees are teachers, so we recruit their students, and working with those training facilities has really helped increase our other breed participation.
Okay, thank you. Maureen, I see you have your hand raised. Maybe not. Maureen? Hmm.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, now we can hear you. Good.
Okay, I apologize. I'm in the car, so luckily I
That's
was at a
okay.
stoplight. Um, I think that we've tried some real creative things to keep people involved, such as membership contests, and we always have trouble getting people to load the trailer, so we've done some raffles for that. But I think overall, we are definitely seeing a decline in the number of runs. I actually have a chart that shows over the last, 5 years, the decline in participation. And I have to say, one of my pet peeves is that, especially when it comes to other breeds, when we try to bring them in, that you have to stay a current member to get your titling. And I take a real issue with that, because I think it's very demotivating bringing in the other breeds to keep that going, and disappointing that ASCA decided to do that.
Okay, thank you. So just in general, is everybody's entry numbers down compared to the past? I see a lot of heads. Yeah, go ahead, Lee. You must be on mute.
There we go.
Yep.
Yeah, we had a couple of trials that were better earlier in the year.
Yours.
Yeah, yours. But they're back down again. We're looking at pretty low number for the next trial so far. So, but in general, they've been definitely going down over the years.
Okay, Jill, go ahead.
Hey, well, I just wanted to say, I don't think that our numbers have gone down. We lost, well, we lost over COVID, of course, but since then, it seems like our numbers have been pretty steady, especially in the summer when more people are available. And the way that we get a lot of participation from people from other venues and other dogs is that we just make sure that we are super nice and welcoming, and talk to people who come in new and are just real friendly and laid back. And people always comment how much more fun it is than AKC. So, you know, they love ASCA because it's fun and laid back, and they don't get like that stress that they have everywhere else.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I mean, here in North Carolina, we've seen ours actually grow, and our trials are bigger than they've ever been for some reason. And we only have 3 a year, but the numbers are always really good. And we're kind of the same way. We encourage people to keep coming back and trying to um, be friendly and encourage them and work with them, and I think people really appreciate that. So Sue, go ahead.
I think what you also come across is are the limited some trials are not filling to like 350 capacity, but I think we've all can agree that our normal numbers are down a little bit now that we're, after, I hate to say that word, but after COVID. And I think a lot of clubs, there are clubs that do 3-day trials. So sometimes the 3-day trials that are recurring weekends are really popular. I also think it has to do with a lot of trial volume. Like in Southern California, you can almost show an ASCA weekend every weekend. I mean, you may get one off, but I mean, if you want to drive from San Diego to Palmdale or even to Prunedale at Central California, you could probably trial almost every weekend. So now that means the numbers aren't as big. Like the PASA trial, didn't have 200 runs a day. I think Little Rock had 200 a day. I think the club that Ann and I belong to, the Tri-County Club, we only offer 5 classes so that we're not running in the dark, or we can go eat a dinner at a decent time. And we limit our run 280 runs per day. And we're almost always pushing that limit, I think. So I think it ranges all over the country, depending on the weekends. And I know PASA in Northern California, we are butting up against UKI clubs. And I mean, they're on the same weekend as our normal weekends. And we only normally do just weekend trials. We don't do the 3-day trials. So some of the exhibitors that we would pull from other locations aren't coming. Well, it really varies from location to location.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Susan.
One more thing, sorry.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Carrie, how was your turnout in May?
We had a pretty good turnout, actually.
3 days, did you hit almost 300 runs a day, or were you high 200s? It's a 3-day weekend, rather, I meant to say. Carrie?
When
All right, Carrie's frozen. I know
Yep.
Richard's Club's getting a lot of runs too per day. And they are usually only a weekend trial. Sometimes they do a half day on Friday.
Okay. Susan, did you have your hand up?
Yes.
Okay.
I agree with Sue. We're running up against UKI. UKI, USDA, the other clubs in our area they're not asking, are we having a trial? There's no talk about things going back and forth. The trainers see ASCA as a secondary, like a lower level of competition. So we run into that. And our numbers have significantly dropped since COVID. And it doesn't seem to matter what we try, it just seems to keep going down.
Okay. Thank you. Aaron.
Yeah, I think one of the things that make our trials a little bit more fun, and kind of picking back off of things that Jill said, is that we do things like scavenger hunts where someone will make a little sticker or a pot of gold if it's the St. Patrick's Day weekend, and hide them around the trial, or hide them under the teeter-totter so that the person helping move the teeter-totter that day gets a prize, and things like that. I know that we've done bingo cards where We talk to somebody you don't know, make a new friend, things like that to help become more welcoming and more fun. I know a couple people have got some Bob stickers that they've taken home. So we've seen a lot of that really help people remember ASCA, remember that they had fun. There's a photo booth that we set up in a corner with silly things that they can do with their dogs. I think our numbers have been up. Usually we're in the high 200s per runs per day. And part of it is that we don't have a lot of competition, but we are also starting to see people prefer USDAA or UKI because they can go to those national events. And, I've had ASCA people that have been competing with us for years and they just got their atch and they're like, well, I got my atch and I'm going to go over to a different venue so I can go to CNO Sports or so I can go to nationals. And I think it becomes less competitive because they can't compete at our national events.
Yeah, that I understand that. We hear some of the same things. So, okay, Carrie. I think Carrie had her hand up.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute.
Oh, okay.
So I was wanted to finish my answer to Sue. Stupid charter doesn't want to keep my laptop going, so I had to go back to my phone. So she asked about our entries in May, and my answer was that 280 to 300 is a really good trial for us, and that when the nationals are on the West Coast, we have a tendency to have better entries because more people are trying for finals. So that affects our trials for sure.
Okay. So I think we've heard excuse me, we've heard what your challenges are putting on trials, and it sounds like a lot of it is competition from other venues, and I understand that because there's so many different venues out there now. I know UKI is really taken off in our area. So the next question is, what works best for your club when you're putting on trials? I know we've heard of a few examples of some of the things that some of the clubs have done, but is there anything else that we didn't cover that you think would work, or what we might be able to do to increase some of the participation? Okay, Maureen.
I'll just kind of run through some of the things that we do at PASA does. For people that work at least 3 classes, we offer them lunch. We have a continental breakfast. We have an NQ raffle where every time you get an NQ, you can throw your ticket in and for drawings for toys and treats. As I mentioned earlier, we've tried to do a membership where it brings somebody new and you can get half a weekend's entry. I think we're going to look at possibly more 3-day trials to hopefully pull people from out of the area. Trailer loading raffle. We've tried a lot of things, and what I'd like to one comment I'd like to make is there some place that we can get some of these ideas from the other affiliate clubs where, we can share some of that information and maybe be able to try something new that might help.
Yeah, I like that idea. I think that's a really good idea, and maybe we could start. Yeah, good question. Maybe we'll have to think about that one where we could put something out there to for people to add to. Okay, I see somebody else has raised their hand. Cynthia.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
The thing that no one is talking about are virtual trials, and I've pounded this drum for years. And the fact is, here in Northern Nevada, there is a very active Native club, and they have a trial almost every month. Plus, they have VT runs, and people know that if they participate in NADAC, they're going to be able to earn a championship. The past 2 years up here, there's only been one trial. Usually there are two trials. Carrie works very hard and puts on a nice trial. They have lovely lunches. They have lovely hospitality. It's a beautiful park. She keeps the rates as low as could possibly be for runs. So the club up here does bend over backwards to put on a first-class trial. But nonetheless, the competition from people saying, well, you don't have enough trials for me to earn a championship. And people want to earn a championship. And when I was spending winters in Phoenix, there's a UKI club there that also has a training field, and they would put in a VT course every week, and you could go in the training arena and tape your run and send it in and get a leg. But they also had UKI trials, and they were doing great because people could participate regularly. And the other thing that I wanted to add too, as far as the other breeds, I think it was a slap in the face to them to have to join ASCA in order to get title certificates. That's my 2 cents.
Okay, thank you. So any,
Richard had the comment. Richard,
What?
he's
Oh.
waiting.
sorry, I missed it. Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
No,
Okay. We're kind of a unique situation on our trials here in San Diego. As far as numbers, we're running about 200 runs, and that's about, usually run about that all the time. We do put on a lot of trials. We put on 7 weekends a year, plus 3 Friday evenings. So that's 17 days of trials. We have a really, really good core group because we can't get any support from the West. It's the ocean, and we can't get any from the South. It's Mexico. So we rely on the North, which is LA, Riverside area, and the East to Arizona. And we have a great group that come from both of those areas that support us. We're offering a trial that's next weekend. And because of our gas is $6 for regular right now and more. So our club reduced our entries by 50% for this trial, just to help people. It should help pay for their gas to get here and back, because many of them bring motorhomes and park here, which is very expensive. We have very few other breeds, 3 or 4 tops, because like Sue said earlier, there's an AKC trial every single weekend within an hour of my house. And I don't do AKC, but a lot of people do, of course. But our trials have stayed really steady at about 200 runs. And we just appreciate the people that support us all the time. We have a great core group. I mean, Chuck's been there, Sue's been there. You all know the grounds are cheap. It's at my house, and the judges stay at my house. So we keep the costs down. So we decided to give back at the June trial, and it's literally $60 for the first dog and $50 for the second dog for all 6 runs for 2 days. So we won't be doing that all the time, but we do have to have expenses. We also feed everybody. Everybody on the grounds eats if they work or not. So we're just a kind of a real core friendly group, and it just seems to work for us.
okay, thank you. Maureen? Maybe she did. Okay, Kathy, we'll go to you.
I just wanted to address the having to be a member thing, because I just had to pay my USDAA membership to get my titles. You don't get titles without being a member of them either. I don't remember how much it was, 30, 35, 38 maybe, and that's a year. Also, the other thing is UKI is getting so advertised as being open flowing courses where your dogs can run. And ASCA was the original open flowing courses where your dogs can run. Um, and I know some of our ASCA people are doing more UKI, and I think we need to promote ASCA as the same thing. It's open flowing courses. Your dogs can run. And other than that, our trials are going against a lot of AKC trials. A lot of Aussie owners have switched to AKC and don't do ASCA anymore. I don't know why. But that seems to be in our area is we lose Aussies.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I see that a lot, and I've even seen, there's a lot of Aussie folks in our area that have never done ASCA, and they have no intention of doing ASCA. But
Like,
you
why
know,
wouldn't you?
I I have no idea. I can't explain it. And some of the feedback I get from them is like it's too easy, and I'm like, yeah, come on out and try it, and we'll see. But
Well,
I can't convince them to do that. So
the AKC people can't do gamblers.
I
So when
know
they get to Elite Gamble, then they bail because they're not going to get a championship.
no, I know, but um, yes, it's a challenge with some of the Aussie folks, a lot of the Aussie folks in our area. But
And
anyway,
yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying make gamblers easy. I
no,
like gamblers.
yeah,
I like it the way it is.
yep, agreed. Okay, Sandra, you're up.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, cool. I've been struggling on how to do this. Um, so I agree with a lot. I was also going to comment that you have to join USDAA to see your results. You have to join it to enter. You have to have your dog registered. You don't have to join, but your dog has to join. So I don't really think that's a big factor. But I do think the fact that they can't play, they don't have a national, other breeds can't do the nationals, and bitches in most venues, I don't know about AKC because I don't do it, but in the other venues, bitches in season. What? Something's happening.
So somebody mute their phone. Okay.
Anyway, bitches in season are allowed in the majority of the venues now that I know of, that I participate in. So I think that makes a difference. Our club does do a lot of the extra NQ raffles, big raffles. When I'm involved with the trial, I always do a sportsmanship award, which people get to vote on people that they see that are really helpful, helping newcomers, always smiling, always happy with their dogs. And I've heard many comments from that people are, wow, this is really fun. Ask us, everybody's having a good time and nobody's bad at their dogs in general. And so we just reward people for that. I do think that because of COVID, more clubs, including my own, unfortunately, do less of the hospitality that used to happen. We used to, provide more food for workers. We used to provide just more stuff. And I think since COVID, that's dropped off. And to be honest, I think that has something to do with it. I know that when I go judge at places where they have great hospitality, their numbers seem to be higher. So we try to do some of that, but I also know people with Aussies that don't necessarily register ASCA, although the ones I've talked to recently I think I've talked into signing up and getting registered and trying. But yeah, I just think we need to just really kind of push it as a fun venue and then make sure our local trials are fun.
Yes, agreed, totally. Thank you. Okay, Wendy.
Can you hear me now? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. I know that I've heard from some competitors that because we do a fast flowing course, a lot of people feel that their dogs and they can't handle it because they're used to doing tighter courses with AKC and USDAA. And UKI is wide open, but we still don't allow 270s, backsides, threadles. And a lot of people, that's what they do. That's in AKC, it's in their Premier, it's in USDAA, in the biathlons. And I don't think a lot of people are that interested in doing ASCA because it does not mesh as much anymore with some of the other venues. I don't know if that's any kind of a consideration for changing some of the stuff. You have to have sight of the jump all the time. That's why you can do a 180, but you can't do a 270. Is that right? But that's what I've heard from several people. I'd like them to come and play. I keep trying to tell them it's great for training, but we are very different now from a lot of the courses that we're seeing with the other venues. So just something to think about. So that's it.
Okay, thank you. Anne, did you have a comment, question? You're still on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yep,
Can you hear
Yep.
Yeah. We have AKC like you've been to our trails every weekend. Cincinnati's an hour away. We're in Ohio. Columbus is an hour away. We have 2 agility clubs, and it's really hard to find dates to not have that. And CPE is big in our area, and over the years I've made flyers and everything, but I can't talk people into coming. Maybe I twist their arm. We have the same core group. A lot of them show up in Buckeye, ASCA, and a lot of them show, and we try to go over and support the Crossroads ASCA in Indiana, but I just can't seem to get new people. I don't know. They'll say it's too easy, and I say, come do a gamble, Then they're intimidated, and I think we have higher entries from ASCA people when there is a national trial closer to the East Coast. Our trials go up. We basically break even or make a couple $100 with airfare going up. We have an indoor facility, so it's harder, and we can't really lower our entries because we have a high rental rate because of the winter and our hot summer. So we just kind of been staying about the same numbers. COVID didn't affect us that much, I don't think. But I think the nationals, and then I've had, just to bring it back, for some of the members told me they think that we tell people for $20 you can enter and get titles, and they have complained to me about that the last couple of weeks. That's just, I'm just bringing to the tech committee what they've said. So I don't know what ideas to have. Like I said, I used to make flyers and approach people in line, because I go to AKC trials, and they just look at you, you have to twist their arm to come. And some of them stay and have a good time. But we told Chuck, we're all getting too old to do this. We're all getting, people that have been doing it for 10 or 15 years. That's just my input. So I don't know if that adds anything. I'm trying to listen to get new ideas for it, but we're in and then we have UKI now. And then Daisy Peel moved in close by, and she has ISC courses. So it's a really hard area to compete in. I mean, we're breaking even and we're holding the line, but it's the same people all the time, That's just my 2 cents. I don't have any ideas. We have a nice club. We feed our workers. I try to have raffles. I try, and I really have like 10 members, and they all work hard. So I don't have any other ideas. I'm trying to see if I can get ideas areas, but that's all I got to put my 2 cents.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, and it doesn't seem, yeah, just trying to get new people in general to come participate in a trial or come run in a trial. Young people, yeah, it's really difficult, and I don't know the answer to that. The one club that I see a lot of young people is Ask Me. There's a lot of young people that are participate in the trials up there, which is pretty impressive. So, okay. So when we talk about participation from other breeds, it seems like that the one big point that everybody keeps bringing up is the nationals for or finals for other breeds. So, Michael, do you want to cover that? And you're on mute, by the way. You're on mute. Unmute yourself. Okay. Maybe while he's trying to figure that out. So for trials, anybody else have any other thoughts before we move on? And we can come back. We can come back, Michael, to participation from other breeds. So, okay, Maureen.
One other comment I don't think anybody has mentioned is that a lot of us that train on UKI courses. And I think what happens is there may be people that don't see the ASCA courses quite as challenging. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. I know there was mention earlier about backsides and throttles and et cetera, but I think people want that opportunity to be able to try the new handling techniques. And we don't necessarily see a lot of that in ASCA. I don't have an answer to that, but I just wanted to mention that.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, Melanie.
Our club is kind of new. We're trying to put on our first trial, so we don't really have issues with, putting on a trial yet, except for finding judges that are close enough by to come in and help with the cost, because everything right now in Florida, you pretty much have to fly somebody in. And just wondering if in the future, ASCA could streamline, if it's an AKC agility judge, becoming a ASCA judge as well, because we've talked to lots of judges around us that would be willing to become ASCA agility judges. But I don't know that the process is streamlined, like if they have to go through everything again to become an ASCA judge, if they're already an AKC agility judge.
Yeah, I mean, I think they still have to go through the process. And it's, I don't see that changing anytime soon, since we are somewhat different.
Right. Well, I mean, I understand that there's different rules, but if you've scribed before at a trial to become an AKC judge, I guess, some of them aren't going to want to go through every single step again if there wasn't a way to streamline the other rules, is finding more judges that can do it, because that's going to be prohibitive for some places to put on a trial if they don't have judges nearby. Just my 2 cents.
Yeah, no, I understand. And where are you located?
Florida.
Where in Florida?
Our club's kind of like north central Florida.
Okay. Okay. Michael, did you figure out how to get unmuted? Looks that way.
Not working.
No, you're not muted.
Now it's working.
Yeah.
Okay. What I would like to talk about is the ASCA Agility Invitational Championship. It's an all-breed event which was approved by the Agility Committee and the Board of Directors in 2021. The motion lays out the rules for an all-breed finals, which also has a finals for ace included. If you want to track the breeds, this could be a way to do it because everyone would have a goal at that point. Unfortunately, the motion was going to go in effect when the board approves it, and the office has a way to track the list. So unfortunately, it's now 2026, and really nothing's happened. It just seems like a way to attract other breeds, and it would be a way for ace dogs to go to finals. If you want to look up the motion number, it's AG21-01 in the ASCA members IO. And that's about all I have on that.
Okay, thank you. I was going to post the link on the in the chat when I can, so I'll do that. Okay. Anything else anybody wants to cover on trials? If not, I'm going to turn it over to Sue and let her talk about the new rule changes that went into effect June 1st. And there's the list of them.
All right, hi everybody. I hopefully you're all members of the AAE list because we sent out a nice little cheat sheet diagram, which for people who like to see things visually, the tunnel specification rules were passed in 2025, but they had a grandfather period and now they are mandatory as of June 1st. And if any of you guys are judges, I'm hoping that when you go to trials and see tunnels that are secured and don't meet the specs, you record it on your report so the committee and the board can reach out to these clubs because I believe there still may be a couple of clubs that don't have the correct equipment. If I can send you the diagram if you'd like. I think most of the people I see here have good tunnel specs, but I know, Richard, have you looked at your tunnels?
Yes, ours are up to code.
Okay, great. We had course design requirement changes, which allows judges to design sequences that are longer than 21 feet in between obstacles. And I think, some people are panicking that now they're going to see a UKI type course without the backsides, but really long distances. It's an option. It's not a requirement. It's an option. And I think one of the elements of this that's really nice is that by being able to elongate the sequence longer than 21 feet, which was our old max, it really is working out nicely for arenas that have poles. Because sometimes you have a tunnel wrapped around a pole, and then when you morph the course from level to level, it would be really nice to have a longer distance to get into that tunnel that's around the pole so you don't have to move the tunnel. So I think it's going to work out good. Of course, you're more than welcome to provide feedback. If you have a course that you didn't like, we're always willing to work with judges. The new requirements were allowable as of June 1st. I personally got a lot of feedback from people going to trials with really poor approaches to contacts. So we worked on that. We have, and granted, we had no descriptions on the approach to contacts. We had diagrams in the book, and lo and behold, some of our really bad judges would design a course that was exactly like the diagram that says, don't do this. So we're hoping that along with the longer sequences, the jumps can be pushed out so that there isn't a turn greater than 90 degrees. So again, if you are finding courses that don't meet the new specs with nice approaches, please let us know. What else was on your list? We're allowing bitches and heat at the local trials. I think most of us in the premium, it states bitches and heat are not allowed to enter. So now if you are going to allow them, you have to change that in the premium to let everybody know if you are or are not allowing bitches in season. And another key thing for the clubs is we were struggling with clubs having equipment listed in the premium that was different than was being sanctioned on the sanctioning form, and also different than what was being sent to the judge. So now we are requiring a course design or template, which shows the layout of your ring, the grid markers, your equipment, your class listings, and that CD template. If you can send it to the office, it has to. I think it has to be done separately, unless you zip it, send it as a zip file. But the idea behind this is to send a complete set of information on a course designer template. So it is sent to the judge, and the judge has all the information they need to design courses. It can't be a PDF. It has to be the actual course designer template.
And it should be in 3, right?
Yes, it
Course
should be in
design
3 if you can. The office has the software. They could change it to 3 if you send it in 4. If I'm on the course reviewers list. So if we have an issue, a judge can let me know right away. Hey, this is in 4. I only have 3, and I can change the format for them right away. If your club needs a template designed, you can reach out to myself, Bambi Ellis, the office. There are quite a few of us on the agility committee that can design a template for you, and the turnaround time is, I'd rather do that than work. So if you catch me when I'm at my desk, I'm going to send it right back to you. Carrie, did you have a question?
Yeah, Sue, I don't have Course Designer. I've never used Course Designer. So to get it on my computer, do I just go load the app on, or what?
You don't need it. You can actually upload a temporary version, and that temporary version will also allow you to view courses. You can't design, but you could view. But if you just send anybody anyone on the committee your specs, like your ring layout, your ring size, where your gates are, your equipment, we're going to put everything on that one template. So instead of having an equipment list that's got all kinds of equipment that doesn't pertain to ASCA trials, and it's 2 pages, it's a separate piece of paper, we're putting everything on one template. So you can send your information to me and I can do it for you.
Okay.
And I think that's the thing I've heard most from the clubs is, well, I don't have the software. Well, like Sue is saying, you don't need it. You just have to send in all the information, and somebody on the committee can do that for you.
Richard, did you have a question?
Yes, since they allow bitches in season as of the 1st, our premium does not indicate yay or nay. It has nothing about it. Can we allow it at our next trial?
It's got to be in the premium.
Yeah.
Okay, it isn't because we didn't know about it. So we have one that's not coming now with 2 dogs from up north because of it. So I was hoping we could allow them to run.
Well, you can change the premium, but you can't, and you have to let everybody know. I would say you'd have to let everybody who's entered know.
Yeah.
Because it's the choice of the intact male person owner that needs to make the decision whether they're going to come or not.
Sure.
Okay. Jill, did you have a question?
Yes, I did. A comment, really, thank you, about the AGL template. I don't have course designer either. Luckily Harold does, and he made our template for us. But I was it's kind of hard because I can't open those files on my computer, and so I can't. So when somebody makes me the file, which for every single trial, I'm going to have to reach out for somebody to make the thing to put the course listing on there. I don't have a way to check that they did it right. I don't have a way to open it to see what I'm sending. I mean, I kind of blindly sent it off to the ASCA office because I just assumed it was okay. It would be nice if I could do it one time and know that it was right. But if we have to put the course listing on there also, then that changes every trial.
The classes,
So,
you mean?
didn't you say the run order has to be on that template too?
Classes offered.
Can it be just like Gamble's regular? Okay, it doesn't have to be the number of classes and the order and that stuff.
No, just
Okay,
something like Saturday, 2 regular, 2 gamblers, 2 jumpers.
But then if next trial we change it and we only do elite only, then I'm gonna have to get a brand new template made.
Yeah, if you're gonna.
And that's info that I put on my premium anyway.
Yeah. But and whoever does your template should be also sending you a copy of what they're doing in a bitmap file so you can see it.
It just seems like a lot of work for something that's on the premium already. It just seems like duplicating work, but you know, I can see that that's easier for y'all.
Yeah, if it's very frustrating to get a premium, to get 2 pages of equipment lists having AKC or USDA equipment that we don't know, that we don't use on it. You know, I've had a screenshot of an equipment list, which I had to so now I've got my phone next to me. I'm trying to review courses. I'm trying to figure out how many tunnels there are so I can review a set of courses. Was really time consuming. And then only to find out that when I look at the premium online, the club didn't list the tire, and the judge designed a tire because the tire was on the equipment list. You know, and there's a reason why we say put the information in the premium so that when people enter the trial, they know what kind of equipment they're going to expect. You know, so I understand it may be a little bit of effort for the club, but it's also a lot of effort for me, and for me to have to spend 15-20 minutes gathering all this information from everybody just so I can review a set of courses was getting frustrating.
Okay, well, but you're going to have to spend time creating all these templates for people.
5 minutes.
But yeah, so that's fine. Okay, thank you.
So, and then like for my other club, we have trials at different facilities. So we have a Prunedale template. You know, if we were at Rick, we had a template for Rick's. We have a template for Horsens Arena, and it doesn't change very often. I mean, if you're just changing the class order, the class listing, because you're adding a Friday, then you may have a template for trials where you have Friday classes. And then the other template would be for your normal weekend.
Stu? Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Did you say that they should not be sending a PDF?
No, the idea, Richard, is when we get the judge review letters, we have the template in that course review letters sent by the office so that the judge has the template and the reviewer has the template. We both know exactly what's offered, what's available.
Okay. I was asking because I was assigned a review earlier this week, and attached was a PDF of the course and the list.
Which trial?
I'd have to look it up. I'm not sure right offhand.
Yeah, we should send that back and have the office request a CD version.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, you can't start designing on that PDF. You need the CD version.
Correct.
And the other problem we have is we've got judges who don't pay attention to the ring diagram. You know, you can tell they're putting an 80 by 80 course on a 100 by 100 field. And the
list of equipment. I've been caught on that. The list of equipment, they have all wing jumps, and I put no wing jumps.
Yeah. So I'm hoping it's just going to streamline the process. And more importantly, the reviewers and the judges get accurate information.
Yeah, it's great.
There was another rule clarification was, you know, ASCA does not restrict the size of your ring on the larger end of it. You could have 140 by 140 if you wanted to. But for some reason, some clubs thought that they were limited to 100 by 100. So we clarified that you can use larger rings if you choose to. The cell phone issue, nowadays, when the rules were first written, the cell phones were big clunky things the size of a shoe. But now everyone tends to keep them in their pocket. And technically the rule said that cell phones were not allowed in the ring. So we removed that as long as the cell phone is in your pocket and not in a case that's on exterior of your body. So not like a phone case or whatever. So we clarified that. And I think that's about it for the new rule updates for the June rule book.
Okay, thank you, Sue.
Yep.
So, moving on. If there's no other questions or comments about the rules, for the Agility Committee, is there anything that you guys would like to see the Agility Committee be working on? Oh, here they come. Okay, go ahead, Carrie.
So I actually am not worried about the Agility Committee. I think they're doing a great job.
Oh.
Just going back to new rules, I'm not sure if this is part of new rules or not, but is there a chance that ASCA is considering changing the width of their dog walk? Just because I've seen a lot of conversation about it, and we're considering buying a new dog walk, and I don't want to buy a 12-inch dog walk, and then all of a sudden we have to have a 2-footer. That's something that's been discussed.
I see a lot of heads from I see, go ahead, Sue.
No, we have not discussed even thinking about mandating a wider dog walk.
Okay, so we could go ahead and buy a new dog walk and be able to use it probably for at least a couple years.
Things change. If the trend for all the other organizations was to go with a wider dog walk, then we may have to, up our game and go to the wider dog walk. But I don't know that that's going to be a trend in the next 2 years.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Jill, go ahead.
Sorry, I forgot to put my hand down before.
Oh, okay.
I don't have a comment.
Lee, do you have a comment?
Yeah, just on the dog walk, and I posted this a couple of times. There was a pretty big contact study done last year. I think it ended in October. Started in April last year. And it was for that reason. There was so much discussion about, are the dog walks unsafe? I think a lot prompted by the Clip and Go video. And this group from Ohio, pretty high-powered people, both in the dog sports world and data crunching. But they did this huge study. Just about every agility program participated. I think most everybody's familiar with it by now. But the results of that, I remember the dog walk was like 2 incidents per 1,000 runs, approximately. And so I think that nobody reacted like, oh my God, we have to do something immediately and change the width of this dog walk. So you should be aware of that study. I know it's been posted on the Agility ASCA IO, so should be aware of that. But like Sue said, stuff can happen, but I think that study sort of put to rest some of the immediate fears. But we did tunnel bags. People are worried about dog walks. Tunnel incidences are about 7 times greater than the dog walk incidences of past studies that have been done. So the tunnel bagging is important.
Okay, thanks, Lee. Kathy. You're on mute. There you go. Nope, still on mute. So, well, Kathy's still working on trying to get unmuted.
Okay, I did it.
There you go. Good.
Actually, I think you did it. I hid myself and now I can't find I couldn't find myself to unmute. So I hope we don't change the width of the dog walk. Um, I do think maybe with all this A-frame hoorah coming up, maybe we need to revisit the A-frame. I don't know why we would even have a 5-foot A-frame. Maybe in the past, when agility was getting off the ground, people only had 8-foot A-frames instead of 9. But I think now every club has a 9-foot A-frame. I think the only club that allows something shorter is NADAC. And I also think it would be to our advantage to get new people to come and try, saying they can come and practice, run FEO, whatever, and allow them to practice harder skills that they're trying to get instead of just running more straight line courses like backsides and more slices and that kind of thing. I think would help us attract people.
Okay. Thank you.
That's all I got to say about that.
Thank you. Anything else that you would like to see the agility committee work on? No? Okay. Susan.
Okay. I think that having the 270s, possibly backsides in flow would help us. Not the crazy backside to backside to backside, but just every once in a while. If it's in flow, we have a backside. It's not going to be, UKI, but at least it gets us a little bit closer to what, at least in the Bay Area, what we're seeing.
Okay. Thanks, Susan. Sue.
So would you guys be up for asking a judge to design an extra course? Maybe for like a temporary program where you call it an international, some kind of international course. So you have one class a day at the end of the day or whatever, in between regular and gamblers or before you pull the jumps off, or put the jumps on for jumpers. Would that be an idea? Test program? Yes, no?
So like a non-regular class?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, non-regular class, not titling for now, just to test it out. Would it, I mean, if you charge $5-10 a class, it'd be extra income. It would be like the 7th class of the day. If you're already doing 6 classes, it would be the 7th class. You could, maybe put it in the beginning in the morning to tune up. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Sure.
Because, you guys can add extra classes to your agenda. We don't have the restriction where you can only have so many jumping classes like I know NADAC used to do in the old days. But I mean, we can try it. Put it out there as an option.
But don't the rules say that a dog can only enter 6 runs a day?
Sanctioned runs.
Okay.
This is a non-sanctioned class.
Yeah.
You could stick it in the morning on the day that you have the contacts out there.
Yep. We have stuck in tunnelers classes at the end of the day just to have fun. And then, young dogs and old dogs can run it. So a lot of people entered it.
Yeah, the thing about tunnelers is, oh my gosh,
Yes.
that's a lot of work. But if you could do this international class, before you start Gamblers for the Day, I think it would use the existing layout, and it might not be a bad idea to try it. Nicole?
So if we did that, Sue, would the judge design that international course, that non-regular course?
Yeah, I mean, we'd have to lay out a program, lay out the ideas and say, hey, well, actually the clubs can do it now by themselves if they want to reach out to the judge and say, hey, we want to add a warm-up class, a tune-up class first thing in the morning on whatever day they have the equipment out there, the contact equipment out there. Can you design an international style course? Or we could kind of suggest the program, suggest the idea, and lay out some parameters.
Yep. Susan, do you have another comment?
Yeah, at our August trial, we are going to have fun runs on Friday, and we're having a UKI judge develop a course for us, or build a course for us that's going to kind of be hybrid, and tell everybody, this is what we're doing. And so we're giving people a chance to come and practice, and it'll have a UKI type course. So people can do whatever they want. Also, when people were talking about having people practice backsides and things in the ring, when they come, they can do whatever they want in the ring as it is. I mean, they don't have to follow the numbers. You get a certain amount of time and you can do whatever you want. So I don't know that having a following a course is really something that they have to have. I don't know. Anyway, that's what I wanted to tell you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, is there anything else that you guys would like to see the Agility Committee be working on?
Apparently you're not seeing me. This is Richard again.
No.
I guess I'm really old school, and I don't think ASCA needs to be changed and add backsides. We're a different venue. We don't need to cater to others. I don't think it's going to up our entries if we add backsides or throttles. That is not our venue. That is not what we were all about from the beginning, and I've been around since the very beginning. We have had, when I've judged in Europe, they do backsides all over the place in Gamblers because they can. They can do whatever they want. So AKC can come and do Gamblers and do backsides if they feel like it. But I'm just sorry. I'm old school, and I don't think it's necessary to change our venue to meet some other criteria of other venues. I don't think it will help us. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, Cynthia.
There was all of this talk about promoting ASCA and getting people to come and look at ASCA and see ASCA. And now the conversation seemed to be going in the direction of come to ASCA and have its class so you can see UKI. And I've had a business, and in the business, you're selling a product, and you want that product to be better than the other person's product. And in my point of view, from the limited trials or clubs that I've experienced here in the western part of the country, those clubs are doing a great job. They're putting on the nicest trials that you could have. But they're not the originator necessarily of the product, because the product is what is created by ASCA. And again, coming back to the other breeds and the title certificate situation, yes, someone commented that in USDAA you do have to join. But there are other venues like CPE and NADAC where you don't have to join. And you not only get a certificate, but you get actual trophies and plaques to put on the wall. You get these things you can tangibly hold in your hand that shows an accomplishment that you've achieved. And when people I mean, I don't know if anyone's ever sat down and figured out the average cost of getting an ATCH, but when you have paid all those fees to clubs and to ASCA, the idea of getting something tangible to show your achievement, I think, is really important. And you talk about getting the word out. Well, it's not like we have a magazine that we see all the time or can run ads on television or cable or social media saying ASCA is the greatest agility out there, come and do it. So how do you get the word out there about ASCA? And I think the way that happens is from word of mouth. And if someone says, gosh, I got my ATCH and look what I got, or gee, the mail came today. How many people on Facebook show their ASCA certificates that they got in the mail? But now if you don't join ASCA, you don't get that. And the major expense in joining ASCA is for them to be able to provide you with the magazine. How many people even want the magazine? But then you can get the other alternative membership, but I don't know how much you're really getting from that, especially if you're an other dog. One way that I think could be helped is if instructors could try to teach using ASCA style courses. The best way to get new blood is for an instructor to be bringing their students to a trial and encouraging them to enter a trial. And in turn, the way that works with the instructor in agility as well as in rally is if those people can do virtual trials and do virtual courses and put their leg in and test the pond and also get something out of it besides practice to actually be able to earn a leg toward a title. That's something that is very important to people, is earning titles. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Cynthia. Sherry?
Yeah, just following up on what Richard was saying, and I agree with him. I've had people tell me or talk to me that if ASCA did change and have backsides and things like that, that they actually wouldn't do ASCA anymore. So we may lose people if we go that way. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Okay, thank you. Okay, anything else for the Agility Committee to think about? If not, we'll move on to the board. So what can the board do to help you guys out?
The board and actually the committee too, this is Richard again. If you look at our judges list, we better start getting some new judges because we're all getting old. I think the average judge is 65 or up on the list. So we need some new blood. We need some of these young people to start applying to become judges. It's a lot of fun. You get to travel. You can go to Europe. You can do lots of things. Some people enjoy judging, some don't. But our judges list is going to start dwindling in the next 5 to 10 years. In 10 years, I'll be over 80. I probably will not be judging anymore. I hope I am, but chances are not good for that. It's just what it is. So we really need to start trying to get more people to apply to be judges to keep our program going. I disagree with allowing AKC a quick jump in because their course design and everything is so vastly different than ours that the few AKC judges we had in years gone by are all gone now because there were so many problems with them. It is a completely different venue, different style of design.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I always, I'm talking to people and try to encourage people to become a judge. But it takes a commitment, that's for sure. I did have one question come in prior to the meeting along these lines, and it was from Pamela Bryant Meeks, who asks, what is ASCA doing to help the affiliates who are struggling financially with trials at this time? ASCA has raised per run fees, raised sanctioning fees, etc. Other programs have been added that require little to no expenses for hosting trials, but nothing has been done to help the affiliates hosting in the agility program. Numbers are dropping, trials are drying up, and the economy is hurting everyone. One suggestion, ASCA give back a portion of Nationals profits to the affiliates hosting local trials. And my comment to this is the money that we make off of Nationals goes a long way in financing ASCA in general. So we're not at the point yet where we could even think about that, because some years we do really good at Nationals, some years not so good. So it kind of evens out. But that money is part of our operating budget every year, and it would be very difficult to give any of that back at this time. Carrie.
Yeah. Hi, Chuck. I have a question for Richard. So when you were talking about dropping your entry fees for your agility trial, did that actually bring in more entries?
Richard, you still there?
We will
Richard?
find out because the trial is next weekend.
So you haven't, have you gotten a lot of entries yet?
I would have to contact Dale. She takes the entries, and I'm not sure where we're at right now. I expect it'll be the same amount of entries. It will just help those that support us and have through the years.
Okay, well, if you could let me know, I'd be interested to hear that, because money is not the issue for us. I would rather have the numbers rather than the money. I mean,
our club is the same way.
Yeah.
Financially we're fine, but the costs are low because the facility's at my house, so I don't charge them a whole lot.
Right. Okay. Well, let me know, Richard, because I'd be interested to see if that made any difference.
Okay, I will let
Thank
you
you.
know.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. Sue, go ahead.
One of the things that the committee has talked about is allowing judges to be hired by a club, design their courses, bring their courses, and bring a dog and run their dog. So there are trials, especially in Europe, and a lot of trials in Southern California as well. There's judges already there running their dogs. So like if I'm hired to judge a trial, I drive there, I bring my courses, and I bring my dog. If I could, allowing judges to run their dog and have another judge judge their run. What do you guys think about this to cut down on, because like in Pamela's area, I mean, Pamela could, hire herself to judge her trial, design the courses. There would be no airfare, no hotel fees. And then, Michael or Jeff or whoever else is there that weekend, Mark, could judge Pamela run her dog. What do you guys think about that? Thumbs up, thumbs down.
I don't think I'd have a problem with it.
I'm reading the comments.
I think it's a nice idea, but in Northern Nevada, we don't usually get a whole lot of judges entering trials, so we may not have another judge there.
All right, so that brings up another issue. Would you be comfortable in trying to figure out a way where someone else could judge that judge's dog?
Definitely.
So like we played around with the person with the most atches or the most experience. And the problem I have with that is determining beforehand who's going to be the judge for the judge. I didn't want to show up at a trial and have people huddle around and figure out, okay, well, I've got 5 atches, you've got 6 atches. How are we going to know who's going to be allowed to judge these judges' runs before the trial starts?
Well, and if it's the judge's course, wouldn't the judge have had time to practice on their course?
There is that.
And there are no judges in our area, so we're not going to have to worry about it anyway, unless a club person's going to step in and judge a judge.
Well, Jan came to your trial the other weekend, didn't she?
Who?
Jan?
Oh yeah, Jan. Oh yeah. She's a judge. Yeah.
Hmm.
Forgot about her.
You never know what I might do, Fritz.
So anyway, it's just an idea. If you guys want to send comments in an email and let us know what you think, that would be great.
So Sue, I think it's a great idea. We usually have several people that have, they have at 20 on their dog or something absurd like that. And I'm sure that they would be happy to do that because I think the judge's run wouldn't be a placement run anyway, correct?
No, they would not be allowed to have the scores qualify for high end trial, but the Qs would be a Q.
Right. I think it's a great idea.
I mean, the problem with, Pamela's area is if she goes out and judges the trials to save money, she can't qualify her dog for finals. But if she hires herself or the club hires her, like I said, there's no overhead, there's no airfare, there's no hotel fee, and yet someone would run. Yes, she would run on her courses, and there is some, obviously if your dog doesn't do 12 weed pulls at a distance for gamblers, I'm not going to bring a set of courses that have 12 weed pulls at a gambler if I'm going to bring Smitty, because that's one of our weak points. But we did get it in Winnemucca. So there is kind of that, but you still have to run your dog and have your dog perform on that day.
Yeah.
Which sometimes grabbing your dog out of the crate and after they've been in there for all day isn't the best of scenarios. So
I would like to add to that. So our courses as a judge, we have to have them to our reviewer at least a month before the trial. And I'm semi-retired. I don't have time to go back and look at my courses. I never think about going back and looking at my courses. I think that hopefully our judges have the proper ethics and honor that they're not going to cheat. And when I design a gamble, yes, I sometimes struggle with gamblers, but I don't design them with my dog in mind, even if I'm going to be, I sometimes have a guest handler will show my dog while I'm judging, but I don't design gambles that way. I design an elite regular, and then from elite regular, I can do the open course and the novice course. And then I look for gambles off of elite regular. What's laid out there? How much can I keep the same and find a gamble that's going to be elite? Is there room for a 20-foot, 2 obstacles at 20 feet? I build for course builders, really, because I used to be a chief course builder before I got old and decrepit. But I just think, if somebody is determined to cheat, there's no way you're going to stop them.
Yeah.
But most of the judges and most of the competitors, they don't think that way. They want to earn it. I can't tell you the number of times I have possibly missed something because other than if it's my dog running, if I'm not positive that a mistake was made, I won't call it. I give the benefit of the doubt to the dog and the handler in the ring. Unless it's my dog, in which case they don't get any benefit. If I can't tell for sure, I'm going to fault them just to be 100% certain that nobody's thinking I'm giving any favors. But that said, people will come up to me and say, I dropped a bar in jumpers. It's like, well, I didn't see it, so I'm not going to call it and I'm not going to change your score. We're human as judges. I can be staring at that contact zone and all of a sudden go, oh, or it's like, damn, I needed one more step. I correct it on the next run, but on that particular run, I'm not going to fault it. And people will come up and say, I faulted. It's like, well, you got a gift. Sometimes the breaks go your way and sometimes they don't. But I just don't think the general population of competitors want to earn a title so badly that they'll cheat to get it. And for me, Do I have access to equipment? I certainly do. I can set up equipment in my yard. I have a training facility I use until August 31st when I'm going to retire. But it would never occur to me to go set that up. I don't set it up for my students. I don't set it up for myself. If it's a local trial, it just wouldn't occur to me to do it. And I don't think that there's very many of us as judges that would. I honestly don't. So I think it's a great idea. It saves the club a lot of money. I do a lot of judging locally. I'm fortunate because, well, fortunate or unfortunate, I'm somewhat decrepit. So often I have somebody else run my dog anyway, and she will run as long as she knows where I am. And if I'm in the middle of the ring judging, she knows where I am. So I usually have somebody else run her. But at nationals, when I went to nationals and was a judge, and Christian was at nationals and a judge, we just swapped out when one person, when Christian's dog came up, I just swap out and judge his daughter or himself or his friend who was running one of his dogs. I just walk in the ring, judge his runs, walk out, he'd be back, or however it might take a couple. Smooth, easy, no muss, no fuss. That's all.
Yeah, and I agree. It might encourage more people to become judges if they have that opportunity to be able to run their dog in addition to judging. So, okay, thanks, Sandra. Anything else comes to mind right quick? I know we're almost an hour and a half in, so um, the last thing that I really have on my list is adding ace dogs to finals. So, Michael, did you want to talk about that one?
I will try. This has been a recent conversation within the Agility Committee. Currently, there's not a motion to include ace in finals. But from what I understand, there hasn't been a lot of attendance of ace dogs at nationals either. But if ace dogs had something to work toward, like a finals, it may help entries in local trials when they're trying to get cues to get the finals. Hopefully there could be some more interest in this, and I don't know, the Agility Committee's kind of a little bit wishy-washy on the idea, I guess.
Okay, thank you. Is there any comment from anybody on that one? Go ahead, Cynthia.
I think that's an excellent idea. And when I was on the Versatility Committee, I had also asked that ACE elite titles be considered for the Hall of Fame, or it was the Hall of Fame Committee rather, and for versatility. I believe that ACE dogs should be able to compete in versatility and use the ACE agility legs that they have to participate in that. And also with Hall of Fame, the open title is what's required now in regular championship agility. And I tried to get them to change it to an elite title, but they told me every which way from sundown that an elite ace course run was not as difficult as an open championship course run, which was very disappointing because that's not true. That's all I have to say.
Okay, Kathy.
Am I unmuted?
No, you're unmuted.
Okay.
This is Richard. I think it's a great idea to have them have something to work for to come to nationals. I would just be interested, is there enough time in the day for the finals judge to do more? Or would there be a requirement to bring in another judge, which could be expensive? That would be my only thoughts. So it's a pretty full day.
Yeah.
Okay,
Ca-
are we back to me?
yeah, go Kathy.
That's a hard no from me on the ACE
Why?
people being in finals or counting for Hall of Fame. Because Aussies are an athletic dog. That is our breed. That's our structure. That's the temperament. They are an athletic dog. There's no reason why Aussies can't jump standard jump height and meet standard course time. If you put breeder awards into dogs that have to have accommodations to make time or, 4-inch lower jump heights, lower A-frame, then you're not showcasing the you're not showcasing at nationals and finals the cream of the crop in our breed. And we need to be proud of that and keep that standard. We need to keep a high standard. No, none of these bred, heavy boned, over-bodied dogs that will take over our breed. We're not an agility club, we're a breed club. We have to think about how this affects the entire picture of the Australian Shepherd. And was on the committee when this ACE came through and I fought it because I really believe if we let this, it's a slippery slope, and now we're letting it slide through, and it stands to change our breed and our breed standard. And I don't want to see that. So that's my reasoning for it. This is our national event. The finals are the cream of the crop and the agility dogs. They don't need accommodations.
Thank you. Cynthia, is that your hand up now or from a previous time?
From a previous time, but I would
Oh,
have
okay.
to say that these dogs that are in ACE are not overbred, heavy, hairy creatures that look like they came out of the ring at Westminster. There are a lot of dogs that are borderline between jumping 16 and 20, where it's just a skosh. And so their owners decided to have them jump 4 inches lower. I just have a hard time understanding the line of thought I just heard. I think it's rather judgmental.
Okay, Susan.
Yes, I think one of the things that's great about ACE is that once our dogs get older, I mean, I didn't move my dog down to ACE until he was 11. That's an athletic dog. But he should be able to compete just like every other dog. He just needs to jump a little bit lower. That doesn't make him less athletic. That just means he's got longevity, which is one of the
That's why we have veterans. Veterans are
veterans.
allowed in finals.
Yes, veterans are in finals. But when you've got a 11, 12, 13-year-old dog, they shouldn't be jumping 16 if they were a 20-inch dog. 12 is a much better jump height for them. I mean, it's just
Okay.
the
All right.
longevity of the sport. The one thing that ASCA has that a lot of the other venues don't have are their dogs competing into their teens, going on and competing for most of their life because we haven't been pushing them around. We haven't been, wrapping them around things. So, I mean, there is something to say for that, to allow some of the dogs that can still run, but maybe jumping 16 is hard on their eyesight. That doesn't make them any less of an athlete. It just means they're old. Sorry.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up because this is something that the committee needs to work on is the ACE veteran. when you changed, when you added ACE veteran, we lost ACE senior dog. So Susan has a great point. And I agree, we need to have a senior dog class. And there's no reason why senior dogs can't be at finals. Because you're right, you got an 11, 12-year-old dog that's still running, that is an athletic dog. So when you changed ACE senior to 7 years old, now people are sitting back and going, boy, Australian Shepherds are seniors at 7 years old. I don't think I want to get one of those. So that needs to be changed. And I know that when I first brought this up, there was the deal about, you know, the program and programming changes. So when we can do programming changes, that is something we need to do, is put back the ACE senior. Have it different than the ACE veteran.
Okay, Sandra, looks like you're up.
Well, I was mostly going to say the same things that Susan Lawrenson said. I think that you can have an incredibly athletic Aussie that needs to jump lower as they age, or even not. If they are an eighth of an inch over the cutoff, that's a big difference jumping 20 or 16. And that doesn't mean that they're not athletic. It just means, you can't have a cutoff that's going to suit every single dog. But if your dog is just a smidge over, why not do what's best for their longevity? Even though they're, yes, they're athletic, that doesn't mean they need to pound themselves jumping 4 inches higher because they're an eighth of an inch over a cutoff. So I think that I absolutely think ACE should be in the finals, whether you call it an ACE senior or an ACE vet, doesn't matter to me too much, but they've earned the right to be there. And I think that I know there's been a lot of research done recently, a lot of posts about how many ACE dogs were at the various recent nationals, but that doesn't give you really any indication of how many would enter if they knew ahead of time that they could and could try for it. So that's my 2 cents.
Okay, thank you. Cynthia?
Yes, I'm sorry to come on again, but I just had to agree with Sandra. I've had 2 dogs that when I'm out there, people asking, why are your dogs jumping 20 inches? And I've had to say, well, they just come right in there in that little tiny measurement where they are jumping 20 and not 16. And the other thing that I just had to say something about was the comment about veteran dogs, that someone, I can't imagine someone looking at a veteran Aussie out there and someone asking, well, why is that dog jumping lower? Well, because it's a veteran dog. Oh, you mean that dog is old at 7 years? Gee, I'm not going to get an Aussie. It's been shown over and over that often the fastest dogs at a championship or nationals or finals are the dogs in the veteran class. They often smoke the other dogs. And so that's just an age that has been decided upon, is 7 years old for that. And that has worked very well. But I don't think it's any indication of a dog being somehow over the hill or losing athletic ability.
Okay, thank you.
Wait a minute, Cynthia, my issue is we call it ACE Senior. When it came out, ACE Senior was 10 years old and over. It is now still ACE Senior, but you can be in it when you're 7 years old. So our senior dogs lost their class. That's the problem. They need to call it ACE Veterans now that it's 7 years old. It is no longer a senior class. So adding a senior class would be an advantage.
Okay.
My question is, why did we have to lose the class? I wasn't anyone who said you got to lose that class. Why was it even lost to begin with?
That's a great question. I have no idea because I wasn't on the committee. But you can be 7 years old and be in the ACE senior class. So they need to change the name to ACE Veterans to coincide with the championship veterans class. Now there's no class for dogs 10 and over. They have to run with the 7-year-olds. It's like AKC and preferred. They don't have a veteran class. We don't have a senior class. We just call it a senior class, which makes no sense.
Okay, I think we'll go ahead and wrap this up, but it doesn't sound like there's any agreement with everybody on adding ace dogs to finals. So that's something I think the committee can think about some more. And then also some of the other topics that came up during this discussion, the committee can think about somewhat. So, okay, that's I think everything through the agenda. Is there anything else anybody has a burning issue that they want to bring up before we go? Okay, Michael.
I compete in other venues as well as ASCA, and it just seems that there are other Aussies, there are quite a few Aussies in these other venues. And the reason why these people with Aussies are competing in the other venues is because that's where their friends are. That's where the other breeds are. If there isn't some great effort to try to attract other breeds, they're just going to stay in the other venues with the other breeds. That's kind of it.
Okay, Kathy.
Sorry, I don't want to be a troublemaker, but what about the Nationals debacle? Has this ever happened before? A lot of you guys have been a lot more Nationals than I have, but
I don't know if it's ever happened before. I know there's been some discussion going on within the committee to try to figure out how to address this. I think we're in agreement that it probably needs to be one height. The question is, what height is that going to be? And then that's kind of where we are now.
so are you telling me that there's discussion about it?
Yes, there's been discussion going on within the agility committee about it. And like I said, it's deciding the question now is what height should it be consistent throughout everything.
Okay.
Pamela had a good comment on Facebook. She said 75% of clubs are running at 5'6" A-frame. And she said, ask me how I know. So I'm assuming that she has some data on this by judging as many trials as she judges. I'm not really sure what the data is, but that's what her comment was.
Okay. So hopefully, I think, I mean, that we were hoping to get some feedback tonight on what, people would prefer to run, but I think we're about run out of time. So the committee will continue to discuss it and work on it, and we may get back out to everybody with a question on what their preference would be.
We would appreciate that before the closing time so we can make decisions of if we want to come or not.
Really? You would, whether it's 5'3" or 5'6" would affect whether you come or not?
Yes.
Yes. It'll
Okay,
definitely affect whether I bring my youngster, because
okay.
you know, she's just learning her stride, how to stride the A-frame, and to switch a, a dog that's less than 2 years old back and forth is, you know,
Well, I'm saying we're not, it's going to be consistent through everything. But the question is it going to be 5, 5.3, 5.6, 5.4? That's what has to be decided.
Okay.
yeah.
But that's what I'm asking, whether it's 5.3 or 5.6, is that going to change your mind whether you come to nationals or not if it's one or the other?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, my 2 cents is I don't think the dog can tell the difference in 3 inches. Sorry.
Yeah, I kind of agree, but
It's 3 inches. It's literally this much.
It's but it's the degree of the plank, and I guess you haven't seen a dog go over that's not anticipating it and
Oh, I've
let's
judged
do a
hundreds of
face
thousands
plant.
of runs, hundreds of thousands of runs over the last 20 years.
Right. Well, when it's your dog, it's different.
but okay, yes, we'll figure something will be figured out. Wendy, do you have a comment on that?
Yes, I do. Can you hear me?
Yep.
And I know what Kathy and Jess are also referring to because my big boy Ozzy, who you know, was in that situation with a lower A-frame. And he came up and was not expecting the ramp. And I know, Rick, you're sitting there chuckling because it's only 3 inches. I'm sorry. He didn't know it was 3 inches. And he was fast and big. And he came up and over, smashed into the ramp coming down when he didn't expect it. His knees buckled. His nose went down and hit the A-frame, and he almost did a somersault. And I'm sorry, if I was intending to go to the Nationals, I don't have a dog in the game at this point, I would not go if it's going to be the difference because I have seen it and I would be worried for the safety of my dog. So, I know, Rick, you've judged, like you said, don't know how many times, but I have lived it with my dog and it is important to me. So I'm just putting my little 2 cents in there. I would not go. Even if it's 5.3 all the way across the board. He was trained on 5.6. It's what he ran and it's what he knew. And I would not expect to have to retrain my dog after a whole year of running him on 5.6 to do 5.3. So, you know, I could run in the Nationals. I don't think that's fair. So that's my 2 cents. So,
Okay.
thanks.
Thanks for that feedback. It's what we need to hear. Susan, yeah, Susan, go ahead.
Most organizations are running their A-frame at 5.6. So that's what most of us train on. I understand that 3 inches doesn't seem a lot, but if you're hitting the edge of the yellow on 5.6, sometimes you overrun it on 5.3. Just saying.
Okay, thank you.
But that's what most organizations are going to put it at 5.6. So.
Okay. Any other feedback from anybody on a height? No? Okay, well, like I said, we'll get something figured out soon and let you guys know.
Thank you, Chuck.
You're welcome. Thanks for bringing it up. Okay, well, I think that covers everything. I know we went long, but I think we had a lot of good discussion, and I really appreciate everybody's input, the participation of everybody. And if you have any questions, comments, I know you guys are all all more than happy to share those with us, and we're happy to get those. So please do. And with that, again, thanks everyone for joining in, and we will call it an evening. So, all right. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thank you.